So today, lads, we're going to be talking about the Sky and Liberty game. We're going to be talking about this game right here because, look, it was an all-around shocking game of basketball. Like, we can be honest, it was a shocking game of ball. Like, the Liberty went 10-0 up. They could have won by 50. And in fairness, it was the best game Angel Reese has played since, actually, to be fair, probably since the game she went down. The game that she went down injured last season when she hurt her wrist. I still can't believe there's people that saw video evidence of her falling on her wrist, doing that, like trying to like move her wrist in pain, holding her wrist, and are like, yeah, she just faked that injury in a game where she scored 26 points. But yeah, it's a weird game. And also, I just want to say this about Angel Reese. She shoots better from three than she does on layups. Shoot more threes. They shoot more threes. But yeah, so she had 17 points, but this is really rough for the WNBA. The game had 600, was on ESPN. ESPN. And this is not just an Angel Reese thing. It was on ESPN. People are talking about these other players. Like, they not only they move the needle, like they're anything to do with the needle. Like, the needle's so far away from these players that the needle's a dot to them. Like, Sabrina Ionescu was on the floor. Breanna Steward was on the floor. There were 3 players on the floor with signature shoes. 3. Not 1, not 2, but 3 players on the floor that have signature shoes. 606K on ESPN. The Fever without Caitlin Clark get more viewers on Ion. The Fever without Caitlin Clark Fever get more views on NBA TV. Like, this, for me, is one of the biggest, like, oh my god, we're screwed moments for the WNBA. And I mean that. Like, the players have zero, and I mean zero leverage in the salary cap. They've absolutely none. Like, I've said it before, where I'm like, the players are asking for so much, and they think they have the leverage, but they don't. It's the owners. And this will prove it. You have got the biggest teams in the WNBA in terms of like fan bases and relevance. It is Fever, Valkyries, Sky, or Liberty Sky. And maybe the Wings are somewhere. Sometimes the Wings pull in games because of Paige Bueckers, but that's only sometimes. It's Fever and the rest. Like, the Fever without Caitlin Clark are still 100 times more relevant than any other team, playing anyone but the Fever. And yeah, you can say, okay, yeah, the Fever pulled in their record viewers because it was the Fever against Angel Reese, but it's like, when you are only seen as good people to watch when you're playing the Fever, that's not a good sign. Like, if people are really interested in watching Paige play Caitlin and that gets record viewers, and you'd be like, oh, look, Paige brought in these viewers too, and it's like, yeah, she brought in the viewers because people want to see her against Caitlin. Then it literally just becomes a case. If that's all that it seems to be, is that other teams can only pull in views when they're playing the Fever. The rivalries are only there with the Fever. The fans literally just want to watch the Fever. And more fans will watch the Fever against a bigger team. Like, it's getting to that stage. When you see anyone play against anyone, except for maybe the Aces and the Liberty. But the only reason the Aces and the Liberty had so many viewers was because it peaked at because it ran overtime into when the Fever were meant to play the Sky, into when Caitlin Clark was meant to play her first game. It ran overtime, and it peaked at 2-point-something million viewers in a blowout game down the stretch because it ran overtime into when Caitlin Clark was supposed to be playing. That's the only reason it had so many viewers. It still would have had over 1 million because it was the first game of the season, those teams are relevant, and it's a waiting room. The only way other teams can get views is if they're a waiting room for Caitlin Clark games. And as someone who knows the streaming and the way content is right now, waiting room games, waiting room streams do really well. If there's a huge game on the same channel, the game right before it will do really well. And you might be saying, oh, nobody watched this game because the Fever were playing on ESPN 3. The Fever probably had more viewers on ESPN 3 than the Sky did on ESPN. Like, there are very few people that are just casually watching teams that are not the Indiana Fever. And you'll see it in the All-Star voting, by the way. I have a feeling the All-Star voting is going to go Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, Lexi Hull, Sophie Cunningham, Kelsey Mitchell, AJ. That is my actual prediction. I predict that the Indiana Fever are going to have at least, I think the Indiana Fever are going to have 8 of the top 12. 8 of the top 12. Stewie, Aja, Angel, and Paige. I think every Indiana Fever player has more votes than Sabrini and Escu. That's my prediction. Which, ironically, like, I know they're not going to screw over Sabrina for an All-Star because the coaches pick it. Which will probably mean, by the way, if you guys don't understand, unless it all combines for a starting 5. So the only people that got into the All-Star team based on a combination of player vote, coach vote, fan vote were Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, Diarca Hamby. They were the only 3 players that actually made it in. So like, Angel Reese was a coach's pick. So now, like, it's very unlikely that Angel Reese makes an All-Star team, obviously, because she's probably going to be pushed to 4 or 5 in the voting, and as the 4th or 5th player in voting, she's not making the All-Star team. She's not done well enough unless the players vote her in as first. Like that's what it's going to literally take. The players voting her in as first in forwards for her to make the All-Star team. There's no way the coaches. If the coaches vote her in over Alana Smith, I don't even know. I know they're not in the same conference. You know what? The Eastern Conference power forward is kind of weak, so maybe they'll vote her in over Natasha Howard anyway. John Quell, Stewie, Bree Jones. Who else are forwards in the East? I'm trying to think. I'm actually trying to think who would make it. Maybe she will make it as an East forward. Maybe. I don't know. But yeah, it's all around not a great sign. Just when it comes to WNBA, how reliant they are on Caitlin Clark. They're so reliant on Caitlin Clark. Like, it's not even funny how reliant they are on Caitlin Clark. And the WNBA have kind of screwed themselves. They've kind of screwed themselves because they did a horrible job. And a lot of people are like, oh, the WNBA, they need to promote more than one player. I mean this when I say this. The WNBA media trying to paint people out as racist for following Caitlin Clark did not make them follow other people. It made them say, I'm only watching her games, or I'm only watching her team. The Fever fans have been like, the Fever have been screwed by WNBA. We're only watching her games. We're only watching their games. Even without her playing, we're only watching their games. Like, it is a factual statement. It is a factual statement that this league has fumbled Caitlin Clark. The media has fumbled Caitlin Clark so badly to the extent where nobody gives a damn about any game that Caitlin Clark's playing. People give less of a damn this year than last year, and you would have hoped the league would have grown. But ironically, the league have done such a bad job of growing it. Hence why, if you guys look, like, they don't cover. They want more coverage, but the media will only cover teams in a way as a FU to Caitlin Clark. Like, you know it's bad. You know it's bad when I am a guy who talks in the microphone with biases, with everything. And I'll admit that. Like, I don't hold myself the same standard as media because I don't consider myself media. I'm a guy who talks in the microphone. I'm not looking to go to games. I'm not looking to get access to players. I'm giving my opinion on things. And I still somehow do a better job of covering this league than the media. Bar few. But anyway, I'll see you guys.